Traffic is moving freely and trucks can once again access the Port of Vancouver. But just a few hours ago, that was not the case, as a protest had this busy East Vancouver intersection shut down in all directions. That until police took action.
Acting under the cholera law. Can you show a bill of sale for what we now call Vancouver?
Vancouver police arrested 6 people for blocking the main entrance to the Port of Vancouver. This after Indigenous rights and anti-pipeline protesters set up a blockade at East Hastings and Clark Drive, which began yesterday. Container truck traffic could not move in or out of the port. Officers finally moved in around noon today, first reading the court injunction to the protesters.
This prohibition includes any blockades or structures on or near Port Authority Road access points, including the intersection of East Hastings Street and Clark Drive and the Clark Drive overpass.
Did you want to move to the side?
I mean, go with her first and then...
Well, we can chat with her. She's willing to stay, but if you're willing to go to the sidewalk, that'd be perfect. You heard what the officers read in the injunction?
Barely, but yes, I got the gist.
Officers then began making arrests. Police say 4 women and 2 men were arrested for refusing to abide by a BC Supreme Court order guaranteeing access to the port. Dozens of officers were involved in breaking up the protest. A couple of them appeared to record the arrests using a video camera. The protest was peaceful. No one resisted arrest. One demonstrator did lay on the road, and that forced police to carry her out. After the arrest, the protesters left the intersection. No word on possible charges at this point, and the intersection has since reopened. In a statement, the Vancouver Police Department says 6 people were arrested today after refusing to abide by a BC Supreme Court order prohibiting the blockage of the main entrance to the Port of Vancouver. The protest started on Monday afternoon. Protesters were reminded of the existing court order and asked to leave prior to the arrest. The injunction was granted to the Vancouver Fraser Port Authority on February 9th by a BC Supreme Court justice. Meanwhile, Indigenous youth continue to camp on the steps of the BC legislature. They're showing support for Wet'suwet'en hereditary chiefs opposed to the Coastal GasLink natural gas pipeline through their traditional territories. Demonstrators have been here since Monday, and they don't have any plans to leave.
We're here as long as it takes, standing in solidarity with the Wet'suwet'en hereditary chiefs. We've been here peacefully and in prayer and in ceremony, and we plan to continue doing so.
Victoria Police remain on scene at the legislature and are keeping an eye on the situation. Back here in Vancouver, definitely relief for drivers and anyone wanting to access the Port of Vancouver now that all of this is back open. I was here last night with cameraman Richard, and all of this was blocked. Surrounding roads were extremely busy and the back alleys here were backed up as well. But organizers say that's the whole point of all of this, causing disruption to people's everyday lives and drawing attention to the issues underway in central BC right now with the Coastal GasLink pipeline. And protesters say while this blockade is gone and this intersection is clear, it's not over yet, and they are planning to cause more disruptions throughout the city. We haven't heard anything as of yet, but you can check City News online, News 1130's website, and of course News 1130 on the radio for any updates to any further blockades.